Back in my wilder days, I got chased by a dame who was the whole package. Eyes bluer than the Tyrrhenian Sea, dark hair flowing like a Chinati waterfall, legs for days, curves that could make a priest rethink his vows, and a personality that could charm a snake out of its skin. A real capo di tutti capi of women. One frosty night on campus, this broad, not named Sarah, hunted me down like I was the last slice of capicola at a mob sit-down. She found me, poured me some drinks, and the next thing I know, she's inviting me back to her place. Me, being a green kid who thought come over meant a nice chat over espresso, tagged along. We get there, she cracks open a bottle of wine, lights enough candles to signal a Vatican heist, strips down to lacy unmentionables, think Victoria's Secret you could floss your teeth on, bends over a mirrored counter and purrs, "I love making love in front of a mirror." Me, dumb as a box of hammers, I say, "Well, it's a lucky man who gets to do that with you." Then I hit the sack, dreaming of being that made man myself. Point is, sometimes you pour your heart into a job like not Sarah did that night, only to get a payoff flatter than a snitch's pulse after a swim in the Hudson. You can't go back, and the whole thing's tainted like a meatball sub left out in the sun. And that's exactly how I felt playing Mafia the Old Country. 10 to 12 hours of riding high with the Teresi crime family, planning the perfect score, only for the ending to flop harder than a 2-bit HUD trying to dive into the big leagues. Fair warning, this game's pretty fresh off the boat, and this review's packing spoilers like a Tommy Guns clip. I tried to keep it clean, but after that ending, I gotta spill the beans like a rat in a lineup. Alright, as Mario might say,
let's go!
Mafia the Old Country's cooked up by Hangar 13 and 2K. It's the 4th hit in the Mafia series, but my first dance with the family. You step into the boots of Enzo Favera, a Caruso, that's Sicilian for poor kid, not some opera-singing mook, though the game don't bother explaining it. Enzo's a young punk who escapes his life while hauling sulphur in the mines after a tragedy messier than a hit gone wrong. He gets adopted by the Teresi crime family, climbing the ranks while dodging betrayal, loyalty, and a steamy fling with Don Teresi's daughter Isabella. The game spread from 1904 to around 1910, turning Enzo from a nobody to one of the Don's top soldatos. Graphically, this game is a stunner, like a Sicilian sunset over a blood-soaked vineyard. The recreation of old Sicily, sprawling farms, dusty roads, and stone villages feels like you're walking through a postcard from Nonna's hometown. No day-night cycle, but riding through the semi-open world soaks up the vibe like fine grappa. Evening light hitting the villages makes you want to ditch the controller and book a flight to Italy. Sure, there's some texture loading hiccups and the odd spinning rifle like it's possessed, but on my PS5 Pro it's a smooth 60 FPS at 1440 on quality mode. Performance mode's there if you want frames over flash, but it's like choosing spaghetti without sauce. Why bother? The game's sold as a linear story, but the map does let you roam like a wise guy scouting some turf. Missions take you on long hauls across Sicily, either on horseback or in clunky 1900s autos that handle like a drunk concierge. The cars, though, oh mamma mia, they're gorgeous. And each model's got its own flavour, which you can buy with in-game cash. Turning off assisted driving is a smash, though crashes are softer than a snitch's spine. You'd think Enzo's got a guardian angel in the glove box. Combat's as basic as a 30-edge snub-nose, cover, shoot, repeat, and gunplay sloppier than a back alley hit. Auto-aim's got 3 modes, snap to target, snap and follow or nothing. First two are so janky you're better off praying to St. Anthony for a hit. Aiming point blank feels like Enzo's seen double after too much whiskey, and shots miss like they're dodging taxis. Meanwhile, NPCs shoot like they're auditioning for the Terminator. It's a good thing you've got some magic bandages to patch up with, though, or you'll be pushing some daisies. Stealth? Well, that's simple. Stay out of sight, choke a guy, or shank him with a knife that dulls faster than a stoolie's story. Why knives need a whetstone after minimal usage is anyone's guess. Boss fights? Knife duels. Every damn time. By the fourth, I was ready to pull an Indiana Jones and just shoot the bastard. Sound design's a mixed bag. The cars roar like a dun chewing out a traitor. Deep and dirty, but gunshots, they sound like a fat capo getting spanked with a wet belt by a 5-stone whore. Immersion takes a hit when a firefight feels like a pillow fight. The characters in the game are amazing from all angles, like Not Sarah, with excellent voiceovers provided by the cast and really good character models and animations bringing them all to life.
What is this?
A government currency press. Officially, it was destroyed during the unrest in the East African colony, but unlike the governor, this made it out.
You want to print cash?
You can customize Enzo by selecting different haircuts and facial hair. You can also dress him up in a wide range of outfits to make him your own entirely. Extra cars, weapons and outfits can be purchased for in-game currency from the appropriate vendor. Now though, let's talk the big whack, which is the ending. Like Not Sarah stripping down to her skivvies, bending over and watching her man walk out the door, this story's climax is a colossal letdown. You follow Enzo's rise in the Teresi family, rubbing elbows with Luca and Cesare, the Don's nephew. Early on you meet Isabella, the Don's daughter, and sparks fly hotter than a Molotov cocktail. Over the years, Enzo's pulling riskier jobs for the Don, while sneaking some amore with Isabella, as the Don's main man, Tino, gets more suspicious. You're glued to the screen watching Enzo go from outsider to sotto capo. Mourning Luca's death after he takes a bullet right after his kid's born, and feeling the heat of his secret affair with Isabella, knowing it's gonna blow up like a rigged car. Then it all goes to shit. Enzo and a pregnant Isabella plot to ditch the family and run. They get nabbed at the train station. Classic rookie move. A volcano's spewing chaos and Enzo escapes, naturally leading to a knife fight with Cesare. He wins, spares the punk, and then tracks down Don Teresi. Another knife fight, and the Don's sleeping with the fishes. Cesare shows up, acting all friendly, then shivs Enzo in the gut. Enzo's done. Kaput. All that for nothing. Now I love a good double cross, but this was telegraphed worse than a snitch singing to the feds. Enzo, you utter plonker, why trust the guy you just beat to a pulp, standing over his dead uncle? Stevie Wonder could have seen that knife coming. Then out of the blue you play as Isabella, back at the family mansion being watched by Tino and his goons. Volcanic debris rains down and you're in half-baked stealth fight like a discount Last of Us scene. She kills Tino, Cesare rides up, tells her to beat it, and she sails off to New York. Empire City. Roll credits. Thank fuck that's over, never again. 12 hours of my life I won't get back. 95% of this game had me hooked like a fish on a line. Combat's clunky, sure, but the story, the world, it's just beautiful and rich with character. Then that last 5% hits like a betrayal at a sit-down. Enzo's death is a cheap cutscene and the Isabella section feels so tacked on, like a bad sequel that nobody asked for. You barely know her, because she's barely in the game to get to know her, so why do you care? The twist needed a setup tighter than a Don's booked, but it's rushed like the writers were dodging a hit. It's Not Sarah all over again. Hours of build-up for a climax that leaves you colder than a concrete nap in Siberia. At 95%, I'd have said this game's fun despite the flaws. At the end, it's pretty much a flawed job, like a heist where the getaway driver forgets the car. The story takes a nosedive, and then you can't seem to forgive those other flaws that are present in this game, like the combat. Is it worth the cash? Well, pre-ending, I would have said yes. Now, wait for a sale like you're fencing stolen goods. Anyway, it's time for some pizza and a stiff drink. So ciao for now, amici.